Good morning, Oracles. Happy Sunday. I just finished an interview with Vin over at Investment Club. It's more of a collaboration rather than an interview. So it's awesome. Vin's going to post that on his channel, Investment Club, at around 10 o'clock this morning. So take a look at that. We went over a whole lot of different things. I'll probably break down smaller segments of that later on in the week as we go on. I don't want to spoil any of it for right now. So what I want to talk about today is what's Tesla looking like production-wise for the next year or two. So this year I have them slated for 1.75 to 1.8 million vehicles delivered. So we know that Giga Berlin and Giga Austin are going to be coming online by the end of this month. How many vehicles are actually going to produce and deliver? I don't know. Sounds like they're going to be delivering like 30 vehicles March 22nd and 23rd on the grand opening for Berlin. How many they're going to do after that, I do not know. Austin should be shortly thereafter. And sounds like Austin will actually have deliveries coming out of this month as well. So we're going to go forward, and I have a feeling they're going to be ramping around the same pace as Shanghai. But let's not forget that Shanghai was state-of-the-art facility. They just pumped out vehicles like crazy. And now Austin and Berlin are better versions of Shanghai. So production rates might actually be faster because of that. Don't forget they have better casting. They're going to have structural packs out of Austin, which should speed up the process and make it more efficient. So a lot of things to pay attention to over the next year are really going to be coming out of Austin to start, because the speed of the production coming out of there with the 4680s is what's going to end up becoming out of Berlin in the future as well, and other future factories. And I'm going to be really interested to see how they break down production and deliveries, because now we get specific Shanghai information that comes out of there. We don't get that out of Fremont, so we just kind of have to extrapolate the difference. But with Austin and Berlin coming online, it'd be really nice to see if they break down all the factories individually, so we can know how they're all performing on their own individual basis and how they're growing and ramping. So whether that's going to happen or not, I don't know, but it'd be nice to see. Coming out of Q1, I doubt we're going to see any real difference from Austin and Berlin, obviously. But going into Q2, I would like to make sure that the ramp process is speeding up like Shanghai did. It'll make it a lot easier for all of us to be able to figure out, all right, what's the projection of production? What's the projection of deliveries coming out of these factories? And for 2023, I have Tesla slated to be producing and delivering between 2.5 and 2.7 million vehicles. Now, I leave production and deliveries the same, roughly, for the next 2 years, because I don't know when it's going to be that demand actually wanes to a point where Tesla can keep up and actually overproduce. I don't know. Obviously, we see what's going on with Russia and the oil prices and gas prices skyrocketing. A lot more people are going to be looking at EVs as an option going forward. So EV adoption is going to happen faster. So that's obviously going to put more pressure on demand, and nobody else is producing at scale yet. We've got GM, Ford, Rivian, Polestar. All of them are producing vehicles, but they're not at scale yet. It's not going to be till probably late 2023 or 2024 that they're actually at some, reasonable ramp and production rate that can fulfill a lot of this demand. And obviously in the meantime, Tesla ramping up as quickly as they are, especially with Austin and Berlin coming online, the Shanghai expansion working out, the second Shanghai factory coming. Between all of this, Tesla's just going to be ramping so much faster. I mean, you think about Tesla's Austin and Berlin factories are going to be starting production at the same time that really all of these other automotive makers are starting their ramps at the same time. So, GM and Ford are really going to be competing against Austin and Berlin. Not like, as if Fremont and Shanghai don't even exist. So, if you take out Fremont and Shanghai and just compare GM and Ford to Austin and Berlin, that's really what we have the competition for production rates going for. But obviously, Tesla has Shanghai and Fremont, which put them light years ahead of everybody else. So when you're looking at ramp rates for other manufacturers trying to put vehicles out there, you can almost directly compare them to Austin and Berlin because their ramp rates are going to be about the same. And now that's not to say that Ford and GM are going to be able to ramp producing vehicles at the same pace that Tesla is doing it at, but it'll be nice to be able to compare the two and say, hey, how is Austin compared to GM right now? And you can see how is the production going, and you can see, hey, well, Austin has now surpassed, GM in their production. Obviously, we know who has the lead, but now we can really prove it and say, well, GM had technically started producing vehicles before Austin did, and if Austin now passes GM at the pace of their production, then we can really extrapolate more information into the future to see who is going to really be taking the bigger lead. And I've had some discussions over on Twitter. If you don't follow me there, I'm there at OracleTim1. I had some discussions with people about, the Cybertruck. And they're talking about how the Cybertruck, it's not going to be able to, because it's coming out later, they're going to fall behind because they're not going to be produced as fast as the other vehicles. But you have to remember that the Ford Lightning is going to be the first one, other than Rivian. The Lightning is going to be the first one that's coming out, and that's not even coming out till the end of 2022. The Silverado's not coming out till the exact same time as the Cybertruck, which is 2023. And not only that, but the Cybertruck isn't actually designed to be like those vehicles, to be for the regular working guy. It's, obviously I'm sure Tesla would love that, but that's not what it's for. So it's got a totally different market realistically than what these other markets are going for. So Tesla doesn't need to produce the Cybertruck to compete in the truck space, but they're going to, and that's what's going to be out there. And so when it comes to the pricing on the Cybertruck, they're talking about how, it needs to be affordable and this and that. And I was throwing out how a dual motor could realistically be like $60,000 to $70,000. And they're thinking that's too expensive. But take a look at the ICE vehicles. Try to go buy a Chevy, Silverado 3500 right now. You're probably paying $60,000 for that truck. That's what's available. And even the lower end ones, when they were available, you're still looking at $45,000 to $50,000 for it. They are expensive. So if you were going to have a dual motor Cybertruck at $60,000 to $70,000, it's really not that much more. And the cost of EVs is going to be coming down, while the cost of ICE vehicles is either going to remain the same or go up, because we have seen over the years that ICE vehicle prices are going up, whereas EVs, the prices are going to be coming down. That's where you're going to see the difference, and that's where a lot of people disconnect and don't see it. They're looking at literally right now. Where are we at right now? And yes, ICE vehicles right now, on a whole, are less expensive than EVs. But that is changing rapidly, and it's going to be changing rapidly over the next 1 to 2 years, not like 5 years. And so we're going to see this transition happen a lot faster, and then all the production that comes out of these factories are all going to be sold. They're going to be gone, and I'm going to say probably maybe 2024, 2025, we finally start to see maybe catch up. And I think that's going to involve the compact car that Tesla will have coming out of Shanghai will be able to speedily catch up with all the demand. But at the same time, you produce a vehicle that's potentially under $30,000, and the demand for that vehicle is going to skyrocket. So I think when it comes to production, obviously Tesla has stated that they believe that Model Y is going to be the best-selling vehicle in the world in 2023, and I think that may continue into 2024, maybe not, because if they come out with a compact car in 2024, that might actually overtake the Model Y in 2025 if production can speed up fast enough for it. And I know Elon said on the earnings call that they're not focused on the compact car right now. They're focused on their current lineup. They're focused on engineering for the Cybertruck and the Roadster. But he did say it's not off the plate. And so I know from my sources that I have spoken to, they do know that what's going on in Shanghai is going to be producing the compact car. They do have a prototype for it over there, at least initially. It is in the works. So, despite the fact that they're saying that they're not currently working on it, they are. Shanghai's got something in the works over there. When it's coming out, when it's going to be announced, I don't know. Well, they are working on it. So that's what's going to most likely, from what I am hearing, going to be coming out of the Shanghai 2 factory. But again, looking at timeline, I highly doubt that they're going to be producing this vehicle before 2024. If they do, it'll be late 2023. Because if they started talking about it in 2023, people would then stop buying the Model 3 and then would probably wait for the compact car. And Tesla doesn't want to do that to themselves, because they're going to be cannibalizing part of their own business for that, which is going to be better for the business in the long run anyway, because a sub $30,000 vehicle would sell significantly more units than a Model 3. But their focus, they're going to have the Model Y be the #1 selling vehicle next year, and then they'll start working going forward between FSD and this compact car. And so just going back to production for the next 2 years, projecting 1.7 to 1.8 million vehicles this year, and then bumping it up almost another million vehicles for 2023 produced. So thinking about that, last year in 2021, we produced just under a million vehicles. And in 2023, I'm projecting that they're going to expand and increase their production by the amount that they fully produced in 2021. That is what we call exponential growth, and that is going to continue for the next 10 years. Let me know in the comments below, what are your production projections for the next 2 years? Where do you think we're going to hit in the next 2 years, and what do you think about the compact car and when that's going to be coming out? And do you think it's actually going to be coming out? Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the video that Vin is putting out on his channel for Investment Club. We're going to call the Oracle Investment Club get-together video. Check it out there. I'm also over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. Thank you so much. Have a great one.